Tesla will be the largest company on earth by market cap in 2026? Or will it be 2027? Or will it be Grok will eventually actually invent something completely novel in 2026? Or will that be 2036? The very poorest person in America that is not an addict or mentally ill will have no food, shelter, or medical needs still unmet in 2026, or is that never? Nicholas Gibbs thinks about the future a lot. He's also an active consultant for Amazon in the AI space, and together we're going to try to divine the future and help everyone think about their investment strategies a bit differently than they normally do. Hey, Nick, speaking of AI, you're a published author in that space. In fact, you're an Amazon #1 best-selling author, specifically in the space of AI. In that book, you predicted that humanoids will become the new family pet.
I did.
So I totally agree. Do you remember what you were thinking at the time?
For some reason, I feel like that wasn't quite me.
You want me to get it out? I can get it out over here.
Yeah, I think it's right there over your shoulders.
Well, no, it's actually, I have another one right here.
Oh man, look at that. Someone's ready. Speaking of that, if you haven't ordered your copy, you better go order your copy because that book's got answers you didn't know you had questions to.
So I think what you were trying to say is that, it will be as ubiquitous. You said it'll be like a smartphone. It would be like this, but it would be in many ways more like the replacement for the family pet. And I've thought about, I won't own a dog because we travel at least a month a year, sometimes more, and I don't want to put it in a pound, or not a pound, in a
kennel.
Kennel. And yeah, and in addition to that, at 77, I'm not 100% sure that I'll outlive my dog, and so then that's going to be sad. What happens to it then?
Randy, don't say that. We got many years, Randy.
Anyway, but I was thinking about old folks like me. I'm in that neighborhood here with a bunch of other old folks. You got to get a humanoid that could be cooler than a pet, than a dog.
I mean, that's a hard one. A pet gives you love and affection, and you can cuddle with the pet. You're not gonna cuddle with your humanoid, at least not these current hard metal versions. So I don't know, but I do think that we will have a lot of humanoids eventually in our houses, and they will be part of the family. I think it's hard to think that they won't be. I don't know what the timeline will be on that. I'm probably less optimistic on the timeline as you or Brian Wang or Dan Ives or some of these other guys. I like to think I'm more realistic.
Of course.
And when I say that, I'm not a pessimist. I'm trying to be right.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be hopiumistic. I'm trying to be accurate. So I think odds are we don't see humanoids in our houses until at earliest 2029, 2030.
Oh, 2029. Well, that's fine. That'll work. I think a lot of people would be happy with that result. I know that Peter Diamandis is one of the robot companies is providing him with one like right now. So he gets to have one in his house to try it out.
Yeah. The problem is so many of these companies are trying to just get the hype and the marketing. Yeah, and I get it, but it's one of the nice things about Tesla is that they don't really do a lot of things just for the sake of saying we did it first.
Right.
Right. I know that there have been some things where people are like, oh, that was kind of questionable the way that was framed. I don't think it was ever intended to be, appear a certain way. Like back in 2016, the drive they did.
Right.
I don't really know what happened there. Or, there was like some Optimus videos where they're like, oh, you guys, sped it up and you didn't tell us you sped it up. And it's like, all right, well, these were like the first demos ever. And that was before anybody ever like actually talked about the speed.
Yeah.
And it's like to just assume that they were trying to pull the wool over your eyes. I think it's like, all right, they're just trying to show you a cool video.
All right. Well, I can see that you already get my direction for tonight, but I want to say for those listening that, there's a lot of ways you can think about the future, a lot of ways that you can make predictions or prognostications, one of my absolute favorite words in the English language. But I noticed in looking back at some of your videos and some of our videos together that you commonly put a percentage chance on arriving at some goal. And I think that's a really useful way to do it. But tonight, I want to come up with I want to do overs and unders, which is kind of what you just did. You're kind of like, 29. So let's start first. What do you think is a milestone that you think AI will almost 100% achieve in 2026?
Ask that question again. I just want to.
Yeah. What is the most important milestone that you think AI will almost 100% achieve in 2026?
Okay. And for all of you listening, he did not prep me for any of these. So these,
it's much
my
better.
my time to think about these is very limited. So I might have better answers had I been given an hour to think about these.
Not a chance. Never going to do it.
And remember, hey, hold on. Sorry, Randy.
Right.
Before that, everybody, listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. This is the most important thing you're going to learn about this video today. I'm trying to crush Larry and Jeff on views on Randy's channel. All right. I don't normally care about these things, but Randy has put it in my head now. I'm competitive. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and stick to the end. That way I beat those guys. All right. Come on. Like, what are we doing here? Now, with that said, Randy, for 2026, I would say, and this is important for everyone who's an investor, we need to see, and I think it'll happen, we need to see that we are not plateauing on the progress with AI. Whether that's autonomy, whether that's humanoids, whether that's LLMs, whether that's data center building, whether that's generating electricity for the data centers, we need to show that we are not plateauing and that we are hitting a wall of diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. We had fears of that in 2025, and we've been able to escape that in a way. Mm-hmm. But I think that was more so by doing some clever things with regards to how we train versus use inference and how we've separated the compute for those. And also by going from just LLMs to RAG models to agents. Mm-hmm. We've been able to do more creative things. MCP servers really became a thing at the start of this year. So that's kind of like the API layer for agents. So I think 2026 just needs to continue to be that, oh, here's a new way of doing this. Hey, here's another breakthrough. Hey, right? So we need to see that continue climb. And that may be more compute to brute force our way there, or it may be new discoveries, or it may be something else that we don't know yet that we won't find out until sometime in 2026. But the most important thing that I do think will happen in 2026, you will see that we are not plateauing and that we still have a lot of runway in the AI space.
Okay. All right. Let me also ask, what do you think the under is on that? What is a milestone that many believe we will achieve in 2026 in the AI space, but you think it's probably later than 2026 or never?
Oh. Well, I already mentioned humanoids. That'll be later, not never. I know a lot of people in the test community think that you yourself included, that we're gonna have a lot of production of humanoids in 2026. I don't deny that there will be production of humanoids. I don't think there'll be production in a meaningful way where they're gonna start selling them to customers, right. Or even having them doing actual useful work in their own factories, other than for testing and demoing. So I think they're still going to be on the learning, building, experimenting, uh, iterating phase there with humanoids. So, but I don't want to cop out and use that same one again. So something that I think, let me maybe I think it'll happen 2026, but I think it'll happen at the end of 2026. So I think a lot of people think in this first quarter to even the first half of 2026, Randy, that we're going to see Tesla come out with a lot of cyber cabs, with a lot of autonomy, a lot of cities, all this. I think we don't really see that until the back half of 2026. So, and I'm risking saying this because I just saw and I posted about it how in their year end kind of what we accomplished video they released, they said Cybercab Productions. Like, well, that's kind of a new one that you guys are just saying that. And it's like, okay, was that like kind of just say like kinda production? Like, or are you
Well,
saying
no,
that you're starting to print?
Elon did post later. He says
Oh,
actual ramp April 2026.
okay. So I think everything that we anticipate with robotaxi autonomy with Tesla won't actually happen until the second half of 2026 versus the first half. So it's a little bit of a cop out. I'm not saying something that I don't think will happen. I don't think will happen in 2026, but that's a 6 month difference. That I think we don't see that till the back half of 2026.
All right, let's get
What,
down
what
to
do you think
another.
about that? Am I crazy on
Oh,
that?
I don't know if you're crazy. I remember that my optimism is attached to Elon's optimism. So I
Oh
have
yeah,
a
so
very, ever
it's
since I
off.
started, ever since I've started writing about Elon, all the way back to the method, through the mission, through the AI book, I always try to just listen to what he's saying. We know that he's often late, but I listen and I listen to his reasons for thinking he's going to get there. And so right now he's saying we'll ramp in April. I believe he's going to ramp in April. Now, they may not, but it'll be something that they're really trying their best to actually do. In the meantime, depending on regulations and stuff, they can be putting out thousands and thousands of X's and I mean of Y's and well, maybe even X's of Y's and threes. In fact, which brings me to a question. There was no push at the end of the year, no push at the
No.
end of the quarter. Are they putting them in parking lots ready to deploy them?
I don't know. So, I actually spoke about that. I don't know where I spoke about it. I spoke about it, whether it's one of my episodes that I just did that aren't out yet, or oh, by the way, I started a new YouTube channel. Guys, go check it out. It's called Behind the Trade, and we just did our predictions. That video should be coming out tomorrow for 2026. But I forget where I talked about it. I don't think it was with you last week, but
No.
it's interesting because not only did they already announce that they're the Model Y is the best selling vehicle in the world again. We see no push, we see no crazy discounts, nothing. And then they also decide to give more information about the analysts, whatever, and all that, and the estimates. It's we're gonna know everything on Friday. Uh, all I can say is traders, investors, beware.
Beware.
Just not the good or bad. Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a moment that's gonna be very interesting to see what happens. And if they have less deliveries than what they had in Q3, which I think everybody thinks they will have,
Yeah.
it's the headlines are already printed. I'm sure they're ready to go. Tesla
Right,
sees slow down Q4 over
right.
Q3. Normally Q4 is the best quarter, right? You're gonna see all those crap headlines. But I will say what I've been saying for almost 2 years now, and I've been right for 2 years. Deliveries don't freaking matter,
Right,
Randy.
right,
It's all about autonomy now.
right.
And while even if all those headlines come out because they sell less, whatever, I still think the stock may come down a little, but the autonomy story is going to keep that buffer under the stock. That's my prognostication, and it'll be short lived. Any kind of pullback we have, it might be a hard pullback, might not be a fun pullback, right? We might go all the way down to 440, 430, 420, but I think we stay in the 400s, if not recover quickly. But I forget what you were asking, but it is interesting. There's no doubt that's very interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was asking about No, I forget what I was asking. What did I ask? I asked.
We just got two old guys here who don't know anything.
All right, let's talk. What was the earliest date that you think Austin will have paid fares without safety monitors? That's the next question.
Oh, um, the earliest?
Yeah,
End of January.
end of January. Okay.
Earliest.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think is the absolute worst case?
End of April.
Okay. All right. That's a nice little.
Yeah, it's just pretty good, right? It's not
Yeah.
like it's
So here's my prognosis on what you just said. Everything that you just said. I've been saying this for a week. Maybe we even talked about it last week. I predicted over and over again that if the safety monitor was not out of there, that we would have a drip, drip, drip down. We have had a drip, drip, drip down. We're now at 455, 456 in the overnights. My thinking is we will have another drip down tomorrow if they don't release the supervisors. I don't think we're going to pop back up tomorrow. I think we have another drip down. If we don't have the release of the supervisors on New Year's Day, and we get into Friday, and the numbers are 425 maybe and less, then I think you're right. I think we go for 40, 420, something like that. If they release the folks from their jobs of sitting in the passenger seat and we start for real, I think we go right back up to 495, 500.
I don't hate that, but I think tomorrow we have a green day.
Oh,
Yeah. I think, look, right now, this is all trash market right
sure,
now.
sure.
Okay. The last, since Tesla started going down, since the 22nd, it's all trash market. I'm not saying that you should ignore it because this time last year, the 18th, we saw the highs in Tesla all the way up until we bottomed out in April.
Right.
But regardless, every year, this is the trash
Sure.
2 weeks.
Sure.
It's why you have Santa Claus rallies. Why? Because there's no volume.
Right.
There's no volume. It's pretty much just retail investors. So it kind of pumps everything up, right? And you just can't take much. The market truly opens up again on Monday next week.
Right.
That's when the markets open up again. Until then, this is all kind of just wishy-washy, not real. There's not real investors here. It's thin markets. And when there's thin markets, we get more fluctuations. I don't disagree with you that like I said, I think the delivery numbers matter, but I don't think they're going to matter that much. I think people are looking, like, we're not at this price right now because everyone thought Tesla was going to have a lot of deliveries. We're not.
No.
And we're not at this price right now because everyone thinks that we're going to take the driver out in the next 2 days. I don't think that's why we're here. I think we're here because, hey, look, Cybercab's going, hey, there's some with Tesla without anyone in it testing. Hey, look at this latest FSD version. Hey, right? Like, that's why. And not just that, but people are saying to themselves, okay, these data centers are kind of getting backlogged because there's an energy issue. All right. If there's an energy issue and we can't build more data centers, guess what that's going to limit? NVIDIA selling chips. All right. And then you got companies like Palantir who, they're kind of AI, but they're kind of not AI. NVIDIA, kind of AI, but kind of not AI. OpenAI, you can't really invest into them. And even if you could, they're not profitable company. Same with Anthropic. You look at the cloud companies and they're kind of, they kind of do AI, but they're also kind of more like an NVIDIA where they're like, hey, build their AI on us and we spin our meters. So then you ask, like, okay, well, if we're going to have this next leg in AI, where's it going to be? Well, it's going to be Tesla because they're the only game in town.
Right.
And the only other game besides them that I think people are starting to see would be a Meta and a Google. And that's because of advertising. And because advertising is going to be huge. And Meta is the king when it comes to that with AI. So that's what I see right now. And I think people are starting to see that and they're trying to position themselves into next year to actually capture true AI, real world AI. That's not just text based. It's not just LLMs or some derivative of it or the infrastructure to build AI applications, LMs, training, all that. And there's only one company. So I've been saying for I don't know how long now, there's one real AI company in this world, and that's Tesla. Tesla is the only one. Mark my words. There's one AI company. I'm not wrong about this. I promise you guys, I will tell you when I'm wrong. I'm the first one to admit it. Go look at it. I put my trades out there when I do all the time. I talk about my losers. I always tell people, judge me on when I'm wrong and my losers. I'm telling you, I'm not wrong about this one. It's objective. Tesla's the only real world AI company,
Right.
period.
Period. So
That's it.
just one caveat to that. You left out Microsoft.
Microsoft, I think, falls into the same camp as like Amazon or Nvidia. If anything, I would say Amazon kind of toes that line to being like a Google and Meta, because Amazon does a lot with advertising. Amazon does a lot with you want to buy stuff and directing to buying things. Microsoft, they don't really have that niche yet, right?
Their
Amazon
big thing is,
has Amazon.com.
their big thing is the enterprise. And I'm
Exactly.
just thinking that base of business that they have, if they're clever, and it looks like they are, about applying AI to that customer base, that would be a
Well,
pretty good.
they're trying, but if you look at it, they just had to raise their prices on Microsoft 360 by 30%. A lot of people are pissed off about that. If you look at their tools like Copilot and stuff, again, it's nothing that's kind of really game changing in any way. They don't really have advertisement. I mean, hell, do you know who the biggest consumer of Windows Microsoft licensing is in the world? For databases? It's Amazon.
Okay.
More people run Microsoft databases on AWS than on any other platform.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to sell to AWS Microsoft's AI tools, because guess what? AWS has their own, and arguably kind of better, because they have a lot of their own in-house training. They have proprietary data sets that they can use to train, whether it's comments or products from Amazon.com. They've got their entire delivery network. They have all the robotics in-house.
Right.
Amazon, I would say, is the second real world, and I get it, I'm biased, but Amazon, I would say, is the second real world AI company. They may not be the best at the moment when it comes to LLMs, but when it comes to robotics, when it comes to real world data, when it comes to transportation, like, you're not going to find another company like them. So it's Tesla, Amazon, Google, Meta. These are companies that have a lot of companies within them that are these juggernauts.
Right.
Microsoft, they're kind of a one-trick pony, right? Google has Google Cloud. They have DeepMind. They have YouTube. They have ads. Meta has Instagram. They have WhatsApp. They have their glasses division. They have their LLMs. Amazon obviously has Amazon.com. They've got AWS. They've got Whole Foods. They've got their entire transportation division. They have their own airlines. Like, I mean, it just goes on and on. Tesla, you guys all know it. So these companies are way more insulated and have way more proprietary data where they can train or leverage AI in a very unique way that can really be scalable. So it's, there's levels to this, is what I would say.
All right. My next one. My number one hope for 2026 is that FSD unsupervised for all. Now leave out hardware 3 for the minute. What is your earliest date? What is your earliest date for FSD unsupervised for everybody but hardware 3?
All right. End of 2027.
End of 2027. Whoa. Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So 2 years from Elon's estimate.
Well, you tell me, what happens if it's unsupervised and all of a sudden I need help with something?
If you what? I'm sorry?
And then I need help with something.
There's going to be somebody you can talk to.
Okay. And where's that somebody going to be?
In some, headquarters thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got to be at least in some proximity to whatever state I'm in, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Otherwise you'll have huge latency issues.
I see.
This isn't like I can just call up customer support for Amazon and I can wait, press 2, that can't be like that. It's got to be close. God forbid, they need to move the vehicle or something and take control. You need low latency.
Okay.
So I think it's going to take time for them to build out that infrastructure across states or across regions. Maybe you can get away with just doing like a southeast and a northeast and then a central. Like maybe you can get away with that. But that infrastructure, I think it's going to take a while before we can go. Everybody has unsupervised. And then you also have to contend with the whole insurance part of it. And so I think it's going to take Tesla a while to kind of figure all that out. And their cycle should not really be focused on that. Their cycle should be focused on autonomy with the robotaxis.
Okay. All right. And how about hardware 3? Will, in your opinion, will they fit FSD unsupervised onto the hardware 3? And if so, what would be the earliest date on that?
So I have a bet with Hans and Farzad. They think that Tesla will replace the cameras and the hardware, and I told them, no way, not happening. It is not happening. I think, I forget what we have a bet on it. It's either $100 or coffee or beer. Just so you guys know, Farzad has never won a bet against me. I've won every bet against him. So just keeping that in mind. I hope Farzad is watching this so I can remind him once again that he has never won a bet against me. And that's because I'm right a lot, guys. I don't like I know I'm saying that I sound like a cocky son of a bee, but listen to people who are right a lot. All right, jokes aside though, and I am joking. Well, I'm not, but I am. As far as they will be able to quantize or distill it down to a model, I believe, that will fit on the current hardware. So it won't be necessary to have to replace the hardware. I don't think they would do that anyways. I think that they would incentivize you to buy a new vehicle instead.
Right.
It just makes more sense to do that, I think. The real question, though, is will it be good enough to be a robotaxi or to have unsupervised FSD? I do think with enough time, they will get there. And again, I would say that would probably be sometime in 2027.
Okay. All right. Okay.
It's just not, it's just not priority in 2026.
Gotcha.
2026, they need to be myopically focused on autonomy and getting to more and more cities and scaling that up safely and iterating on that and building out Cybercab, making progress on Optimus. They don't need anything else. They don't need to worry about anyone with hardware 3. I know you have a hardware 3. I'm sorry. They don't need to be worried about those people. They need to be worried about focusing on that. And then we can, in 2027, 2028, once the only thing we have to do is continue to grow city to city, then we can go back and start worrying about everyone else. But for right now, we need to be focused, laser focused on just this, nothing else.
Okay. So this, you probably have already answered this, but I'll ask it in a different way. Since you think that Optimus will not be sold to third parties until end of 2027, I'm assuming that you don't think we'll have a reveal, pricing, ordering, any of that until just before whatever that is.
For Optimus?
Yeah.
I think no. I doubt it. I mean, they might, but I doubt it. They haven't done that in a while,
I know,
actually.
yeah.
So I don't think they want to continue to do that. It's just a bad look. It's like with all of the roadsters. I think people put down like $100,000 or something to reserve their vehicles, and Tesla still has that money, and people still don't have their roadsters. Like, it's just not a good look for Tesla. So there's no need. It's one thing when you're a company that is struggling to get profits and revenue and all that. That's one thing. But Tesla has enough money right now in the books. That's not an issue. And the reality is, you and I won't be the first ones to order. If there's anyone who's going to order Optimus, it's going to be discussed behind closed doors between, Pepsi and Tesla, and they're going to talk about it, and they're going to figure out some type of beta testing first and see how much manpower it's going to take to probably train them to do the certain tasks and then train the people at Pepsi, right? There's going to be a whole workforce to be required to be able to train the people at Pepsi on how to tell them that, hey, you want to do this, do that, and then this, do it in this order. And right, like there's learning the SOP, standard operating procedures for Pepsi, right? There's all that they have to learn and take in. So I think that there's a whole learning phase that has to happen before we actually get into, hey, here's our price, order online, reserve yours.
Right. Earliest day that Tesla breaks ground on the Terafab, or the latest day that they break ground on the Terafab, or do they never break ground on a Terafab?
I think they already started, didn't they? I thought they cleared out some land.
Oh, I don't know.
Am I mistaken?
I hadn't seen it. It's possible.
I think it starts in 2026.
Okay.
Call it by the end of 2026. Give me a little breathing room.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Now we come back to one of those questions at the beginning of the show. So the Bible says that the poor will always be with us. Now, arguably, that means the poor in spirit, not the folks that can't find enough food to eat. But however, until now, we've always had poor folks who are homeless or worried about their next meal. The United States is now very close to eliminating all hunger, and the homeless are a tiny fraction of the population. When do we solve this for everybody but the mentally ill and addicted, over and under?
I mean, I don't think it ever gets solved.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not to be morbid here. I mean, you brought up the question. The problem is you can't fix effort. And the truth is, I don't know if it's parenting. I don't know if it's the way some people are hardwired. I don't know if it's just bad luck, hard times, or just lack of effort. But without effort, there's always going to be people who don't put in the effort to have certain outcomes. And that may lead them to drugs and alcohol abuse. I know you try to, qualify those out, but without effort, and that's not, I don't think you can necessarily teach, maybe you can, I don't know, but you're always going to have a bell curve of people. And I think it's impossible to not have that. I mean, there are still people starving in the United States, but it's not because we don't have enough calories in the United States. We clearly have an excess amount of calories. In fact, some of the most impoverished people are the most obese people. Right. So we don't have a calorie deficit in this country. We might have a poor distribution of those calories, and we clearly have an overconsumption in certain pockets of those calories. But much like that bell curve, it's like saying, when are we going to have no obese people? I don't think we'll ever not have obese people, even though there's Ozempic and everything. I don't think that'll happen. I mean, I literally know people. Right? I know one person who was on Ozempic, and they still managed to gain weight because they just kept eating. Like, that's kind of crazy. So
all right, let me phrase it slightly differently then. 100 years ago, there were plenty of people that were, I have had this argument, by the way, with Grok a lot. And Grok says that there are still people that are not mentally ill, they're not addicted, and they're not even people that aren't trying hard, but there are people that sometimes have food scarcity, have to go to bed hungry, have to feed the kids, but they can't feed themselves. Now, Grok admits that this is only, for that family, it might only be once a month, the day before they get paid or get their, what do you call it, card, their,
that's just poor planning, though. Again, and that, to me, that goes back to effort. Like, you in this country, you could literally buy, a 5-pound bag of rice and some soy sauce and some Spam, and you could live off of that for a month for, like, I don't know, $20.
Right.
Buy some eggs. I know eggs are expensive, but it's a good protein source.
They're back down.
Yeah, like chicken. You can buy chicken. I mean, like, what I tend to see is food is not that expensive the way the narrative is. Restaurants are really expensive. True. And even that tends to be the drinks, not the food, right? Drinks cost the amount as your meal normally.
Yeah.
But if you're truly cooking at home and you're not eating out all the time and you're eating healthy things and you're eating whole foods, chicken, meat, ground beef, ground chicken, vegetables, salads, potatoes or vegetables, obviously, rice, like if you're eating whole foods, not processed foods,
Mhm.
it goes a long, long way.
Yeah.
All right. My wife actually just cooked up a bunch of chicken that'll last us the entire week. And we do this so that we can just grab quickly for lunch or whatever.
Mhm.
And, and this is from Whole Foods, right? It's not even cheap chicken. It's like the most expensive chicken you can get, right? $20 for chicken for the entire week.
Costco will give you that same thing for $5.
Yeah. Well, I go to Whole Foods.
It's,
What do you want me to say? I have money. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to be shy about it. I teach option courses so people can make money. Like I'm not like I don't know what to tell you. Like I have first world problems. I got it.
First world problems. Yeah. By the way, the Costco $5 chicken is absolutely delicious and moist, and you probably had it.
Yeah, no, I have nothing against Costco. It's far away from my house. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
40 minutes to get there, and Whole Foods isn't. And
All right.
plus,
Let's
I'm hold on. Let me finish.
yeah.
I also, I'm associated with, or I work at Amazon or
Oh,
AWS.
yeah,
So,
they own,
I
they own
I
those.
want to give back to my own company, and I have the Amazon credit card, which gets you 5% off.
There you go.
So
All right.
you stack that with Prime, and actually Whole Foods is actually pretty affordable, believe it or not.
Okay. All right, let's switch my last conversation to the world. We know that there are pockets of the world where we have dictators that are not allowing distribution. We know there are places where there's war, but there's also places in the world where there's still poverty. And in fact, a lot of times it's the food scarcity is not as bad as the water scarcity or the problem with the water not being that good. Um, because we're heading towards this abundance, because we talk about the age of abundance in our book. We're heading towards this abundance. What's the over and under on solving it for, I mean, other than these pockets of dictators and war and whatnot?
Well, I think if countries adopt more of a capitalistic framework, and I don't mean a democratic framework, I mean a capitalistic framework, then I think there's a high chance for every one of those societies. I mean, China is just a great example where they're still a communist country, but they have adopted and are trending towards becoming more and more of a capitalistic society. Well, maybe not actually this past year, but and it has been the greatest uplift of people from poverty, right? We have seen that. That's a perfect case and example. Um, I think capitalism does tend to be the answer to everything because it will eliminate poverty or it will eliminate um, scarcity or hunger or any of those things, Randy. But I think capitalism in its truest form rewards those who put effort. And I think effort and creativity and risk taking lead to a better society in general. And you want to reward that. And what that happens is look, the people today who, just say in the United States, for example, who are on that poverty level are living better lives than people did than the richest people in the 70s.
Right.
All right. I mean, maybe they don't have waiters and huge houses, right? But they have hot showers.
They all have one
They
of
have
these.
they have a phone. They have a refrigerator. Right? They can get such good, tasty food, even if it's not the healthiest food. Such good, tasty food for $10. Like it's crazy. They don't have to get off their couch to get it. Right? It can be brought to them. Right? The amount of luxuries that people have today, that is a result of capitalism and risk takers, and even the most poverty-stricken people benefit from it. Again, let's not take for granted hot showers,
Right.
right?
No.
Like,
Showers are, I did a study on this. Showers, they've existed in prior civilizations, but they were only for the top folks, and they were nothing like the showers we have today. They had to be kind of like pumped.
Yeah.
type of thing by hand or whatever. But the showers started in the 50s. They were they
Yeah.
that was it was a tub still in the 50s.
Hmm. Yeah. So I think any country that adopts more of the capitalistic mindset
Hmm.
will be able to get closer to that and be able to uplift their population. The problem that we're even seeing in our country is, and it's all over the news right now, but all the fraud and waste that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Elon talked about this nonstop when he was leading Doge, and everyone thought he was full of it. Everyone thought, that he was just lying and all that. And here we are now seeing what's happening in Minnesota. Turns out it's happening in Ohio, Massachusetts having the same exact thing. So shout out to Nick Shirley for,
Yeah.
at least shining a light on it. I know people have been saying that, oh, we've known about this and all that. All right, well, it hasn't gotten attention until now. So you're not doing something right. But if we're seeing that at those levels, that you're seeing this, that it exists in the federal government. It happens in the
Oh yeah.
military.
Oh yeah. Oh,
It
100%.
happens in the DOT. Just every sector of government.
Sure.
So it- it's just obvious. Like it's just obvious. There's no reason these people would, especially Congress. Like I feel like Congress is the main spot for it. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
there's no reason these people continue to be bad stewards of our tax revenue, and there's no reason why they would continue to just align themselves to a party versus just what's right and wrong,
Mhm.
and refuse to come to agreements. And like Ro Khanna, I got into a back and forth with Ro Khanna this past weekend, I guess, and he knows there's recordings from talking about why a wealth tax makes no sense, and now he's here advocating for it. Then he's being disingenuous talking about, oh, it's only a 1% over 5 years. No, that's not what you're trying to do. It's a 5%. And by the way, you had advocated for an 8% previously, and apparently you're leading the bill. I mean, it's just all this on and on. It's like you're intentionally lying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've completely lost all respect for Roe. Up till about 6 months ago, I respected the guy. Now it's like he's completely gone off the reservation. So let me
Yeah.
get to the next one. So some believe that AI and robots will be a big part of this abundance future. That's what we wrote in the book. But will we have to get to AGI before we really get all of that abundance, or will we be able to do it just by continuing to do what we're doing and have the neural nets just get better and better and scale and whatnot? Do you think that'll be enough to really hit some of these amazing results?
Yeah. Well, abundance is I don't think we're gonna have abundance in the way Elon talks, to be clear. All right. I I think Farzad, for example, brings up a good example with Elon, right? Elon talks about how money's gonna mean nothing, right? We're not gonna want for anything. We'll have to find different meaning, all that. I don't agree with that.
No, I don't
I
either.
think Elon's dead wrong on that,
I think he's dead wrong.
right? Yeah. Look,
It says so in the book.
yeah, a house on South Beach, I don't care where you are, that's going to be more valuable than a house in the middle of nowhere. And
Yes,
I don't care if transportation is quick to get one place to another. Guess what? That view, you can't get anywhere else. It's there, and there's only so much of it, right?
tickets
So,
tickets to the Super Bowl.
exactly. So,
Right,
there's always going to be, like, you can't have everybody go to the Super Bowl
right,
and have 50-yard line seats.
right,
Can't. You can't have everybody at a basketball game and have courtside seats.
right.
Can't happen.
I got it.
Just
Nope,
can't.
nope.
So I think there's still going to be money. Still think there's always going to be a hierarchy. But like I mentioned before, where people in today's poverty class now have hot showers, now can sit on their couch and they can have Uber Eats come. They can quickly, calories are so cheap now. No one has to starve, right?
Mhm.
All these benefits, I think it'll just be more of that. So I think it's a slow drip to abundance. And I think that abundance isn't, like I said, abundance the way Elon's talking about, but more how we talk about it, where we're just taking. I like to look at things from the poverty line, where life in the poverty line looks so much better.
Better.
And so, but I think that happens. It's just a slow drip. Look, it's going to start with autonomy, right? Autonomy. People don't have to have cars anymore. What's it mean if you don't have to have a car anymore? No insurance bill, no car payment, no maintenance,
No
right?
garage.
no garage. You don't have to walk to the bus stop anymore. Cheaper transportation, safer transportation. Now you have more spending power, more buying power. You don't have to spend money on fuel, right? So now what do you do with that money? Well, now you can take that money, you can blow it on some other crap. You can invest it. You can start a business with it. You can just have a safety net now, right? All kinds of things. Everyone's going to do their own thing. Some people are going to do brilliant things. Some people are going to do stupid things. Some people are going to, I don't know, do whatever. But I think it's a slow drip. And I think it starts with autonomy. Eventually, humanoids will do things. I mean, we already see it now with things like ChatGPT and Grok. We're all so much more efficient, right? We're so much more efficient. Our delivery's clearer. We can ask you questions, get better answers, have back and forth conversations, make less mistakes. We already see that, and that's a form of abundance. We have we have an abundance of information that we can ask questions in whatever weird way we want and get an answer to. Before, you could ask that weird question into Google.
Yeah.
Get the blue links.
Right.
Have to go to 3 or 4 pages because no one's doing more than that. Read, kind of come up with an opinion, a thought. It's kind of saying it doesn't really answer my questions. A lot of gray. Now there's no more of that.
I know. Yeah.
That's abundance of information that's feeding your actual question.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
Valuable. Very valuable.
Very, very.
With all that in mind, and my next to last question is AGI. I believe that we'll know AGI by the fact that it can actually do something inventive. It will create something new, a new material, a breakthrough in medicine, whatever that is actually inventive, not just interpolation, extrapolation, or analogy, but it's inventive. Do you believe that we will get to that breakthrough? I'm sorry, over and under on when we get to a breakthrough like that, and or do we never?
We will. I don't see it till next decade.
Next decade. Okay. The 30s.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the last question, back to Tesla, over and under, Tesla stock hits what high and what low during 2026?
Oh, ooh, that's a good question. I think we get to 600. And I think we get to maybe 415.
Okay.
415, 600.
That'll be a very small range for Tesla over the years.
Not really. It's no different than what we had this year. 215 to almost 500.
Yes, it is. 400 to 600 is much smaller range.
All right. It's still about $200 difference.
Yes.
300.
Percentage difference. Anyway, yeah. All right. Okay. So 415, you think will be the low, 600, you think will be the high. And where do you think we are at the end of the year?
600.
600. Okay.
Kind of like now, like I'd said that we'd get to all-time highs, and I said, probably 500, and we almost got to 500.
Not gonna have. Yeah.
I know, we were right there.
I know.
Which, and by the way, I was doing a spaces earlier today for subscribers to my ex, and I told him, like, that was my prediction, and I consider that as I missed it. I was wrong.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do, because we didn't hit 500, and we're not at all-time highs with 1 day left to go. Now, tomorrow could prove everything wrong, right, or everything right.
Right.
But I don't like this, like, well, we were close enough. We were right there. It's like, no, I was wrong. Okay. I was wrong. I was close, but I was wrong.
I get to still say I was right. People forget that I caveated it. I said we'd be at 500 if they pulled the safety driver. I said that every single time. I think I included my caveat. So if you don't pull the safety driver, you don't get the 500.
Yeah. Where's that 10-year?
The 10-year is back under 415.
Yeah, I remember hearing a 3 handle, but whatever.
Okay, no, I just said we actually had the 3 handle, remember?
For 2 days.
For a week, yeah. Okay, all right. So you have an announcement to make with regard to your Jewish constituency.
Yes. So as many of you know, I teach an option course. My next one's on January 30th. Um, actually, I learned today that I received 3 messages from people. Not only have they already made their money back from doing the course, we have 7,000, 10,000. I think one said $5,500 that they've made.
Mm,
Hasn't even been a month since. It's been like a
nice.
week and a half.
Nice.
Crazy, right? Um, so kudos to those people. But I have gotten a lot of messages from our Jewish friends saying, "Hey, Nick, you keep doing these courses on a Saturday, and that's our Sabbath. So what we're going to do is in February, we're going to do the course on a Sunday. Now, the date is still to be determined because we need to close out January 1st. So once the January 30th course is done, we don't have a lot of spots left. We still have a few left. So if you are interested, send me a DM or go to my X and you can sign up for it. But once that's closed out, me and Greg will figure out the date for February. We got to make sure it works for our schedule, and
Sure.
then we'll send that out. But if you want to be on the list for that, you don't have to be Jewish to attend. Just anyone can attend. But this is mainly to keep in mind for them. You know, I want to respect their Sabbath as well. But send me a DM if you want, and I'll put you on a list. I have a running list of people, and then we'll learn, we'll grow, and life will be great. So
Right.
thank you
Right.
for allowing me to speak to them.
Sure, sure. Let's get into the numbers. We've got Tesla sitting at 454 in the overnights right now. So this is drip, drip, drip. It doesn't look like it's heading toward the green to me. It's dripping down.
Actually, it's up 26 cents. What are you talking about?
So,
It is. I'm looking at it. It's up 26 cents, 11 cents now.
in the overnights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
That looks
it.
up to me. That looks green to me.
Okay.
Watch. Tomorrow will be green. Watch. Tomorrow's going to be a green day.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go on to those bonds, making fun of me and my bond predictions.
I'm just waiting for that 3 handle. That's it.
Not so I don't win until I get a 3 handle. Okay. Well, we're at 412.6. But remember, I repeatedly said we wouldn't go over 4.15, and we did for a week.
All
Maybe
you just told me
10
was that you were wrong. That's all you just did.
That's I did it. All right. So we're at 412.6. That's actually we're heading in the right direction. Down a little bit in the pre-market. Oil unchanged at 57.95. I've already heard that some folks that are in the, I guess nobody is exploring for underwater at this point. They've all cut that out, and they've closed off a few of the more expensive wells. So we're already seeing that happening. Natural gas just under $4. I've done a lot of study on that recently. Apparently, that's a fine price for this time of year. So, I was a little worried about that for a while, but I studied it deeply. All right, let's talk about the most exciting one of all. I've done a lot of study on this over the week. Maybe you have too, because it's been so
silver
part of the news. So we got gold and silver. So I said that gold would never go over 4,400, or we go to 3,400 before it went to 4,400. And then it jumped up for what, 5 days or something, up to 50. I forget what the high was. But now we're back under 4,400 again at 43.49, and it's down in the pre-market 35.20. Thoughts about gold?
I think gold continues to go up, especially as we head into January, potential government shutdown looming. People forget about that. I've been talking about it. Don't forget about government shutdown is going to be coming, and we still haven't come to terms with the Affordable Care Act fix, duct tape, whatever it is going to happen there. So I think we got government shutdown. We've got uncertainty with the Fed. We see they keep pumping money into the repo markets. So I don't see gold going down really. It's right now, that's everything that's happening these 2 weeks I see as just slosh, not real.
On silver, I've now read articles that are, adamant that there's not enough silver in the world. that the price of silver is going to go to 100 and more because there's not enough silver, and people are taking delivery on their silver bullion instead of hanging onto paper. I've seen other people say, there's enough silver. It's just a matter of hitting the equilibrium point. Last week, I said sell, sell, sell. I didn't actually say sell, sell, sell. What I said was anything that goes up that fast. I think it went up 10% in one day after being up 125% for the year. And I said,
Yeah.
that's not sustainable. And of course, it came down dramatically the next day. It's down another 4.6 today at 74.33. Have you done any in-depth study of silver at all?
No, not really. I guess, there's the whole China thing that's happening where they're going to be limiting exports, or I don't know what all they're doing,
And they're
but
70% of the market or something.
yeah, I I don't. I think this is more of a. I don't know. I don't think this is a silver thing. I think this is a negotiating thing. So
Oh, okay. There's also some big banks involved, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs.
yeah, there's that whole supposedly like some bank went bankrupt, some big bank, but no one knows who it was or what actually happened. I don't know.
But apparently they have a lot of bullion.
Yeah.
Those two. Yeah. Anyway, and it might be part of the reason why we're seeing the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like everyone's looking for it's a good thing and a bad thing. But
Right.
I feel like everyone's constantly looking for the next like
Yeah.
'08,
Yes. Yeah.
and the I don't know, like it's good because it's keeping people very vigilant after all this time since '08. Like it seems like people aren't really getting complacent,
Right.
and if
Right.
anything, you just hear a bubble, you hear AI. It's like we've been talking about there's gonna be a recession since what 2022. People have been
Right.
saying this,
Right.
and it's like okay, great. Like I appreciate everybody being extra cautious because when there's all this caution, it tells me that the markets are pretty safe unless there's something that happens that absolutely nobody sees and it just rolls the market. Even the Silicon Valley Bank failure
Hmm.
that didn't do anything, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
so I don't know. I think things are good and people are nervous because they don't want to get caught off sides. And everyone wants to be the next Michael Burry as much as people give him crap, and I'm one of them, but I don't want to be him. But people want to, there's he had a movie made after him. He made a hell of a call, but he was wrong for 2 years before it worked out.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It happens. Copper, all these are associated, of course. You mine copper and you get silver as a byproduct. And if you don't mine enough copper, then you don't. And right now, they have a copper mine that's shut down. Or well, I think it's 25% shut down at this point with no hope of coming back up for, I think, a year. So these things are all associated, but copper is down a little bit again at 570, but that's still way up from about 450, which is where it was only a few weeks ago. We've got oh, by the way, though, I do want to say, whole bunch of people are saying as a result of all the precious metals and copper being up because of all of this that's going on, now people are saying, oh yeah, well, all commodities next year will just follow suit. I
mm-mm,
don't think there's a chance in the world. Commodities have been flat for 50 years. And not even in what do you want to call it, in uh, adjusted dollars. They've been flat actual. Like if it
mm,
costs 50 cents, it still costs 50 cents.
mm.
So I don't think
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
people should not worry about the rest of the commodities at this point. I don't think it's related, is what I'm trying to say. We got Bitcoin up 1,000 at 88,158. Ethereum also up a little bit, but still under 3,000. I think they're done. They're going to have their run next year, I guess.
Yeah, let's just say Dave Lee was wrong about this one.
He missed it. Kathy missed it.
Yeah.
Missed big.
You know who didn't
Okay.
miss it?
Huh?
I think the two of us. I think we're the two that didn't miss it.
Yeah. Well, I never said they'd be wrong, but I do
Oh,
think,
I did.
yeah, you did. Yes. All right. Uh, Equities all down a little bit. Dow down 0.07, S&P down 0.15, and NASDAQ down 0.24. Both Dave Lee, Tom Lee, and I are going to miss on the S&P. We're at 69.32. Tom said he thought it could be as high as 73. He had predicted earlier 71. I said 71, so that I will not be getting there.
Fair enough.
What do you think for next year? You have an S&P estimate for next year?
No, not really. I don't know. I still think that it's going to be a pretty good year. I think still double-digit year, maybe 11, 12% kind of thing.
Okay.
Um,
You'd be right.
I know.
You'd be
What?
right in the middle of where people are right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know everybody wants to say like, oh, they can't have another good year and all this, but it's not that I think the S&P is going to do so great. It's that I still think the Mag 7, which is the vast majority of the weight of it, is going to do good.
Yeah.
You know, there's NVIDIA is, I think, very undervalued.
Yeah.
NVIDIA could easily be a $300 stock. Tesla, like I said, could be a $600 stock if, they start to do the things that they say they're going to do. Meta is undervalued. Amazon only went up like 7% this past year. Like Amazon, I think is extremely undervalued. Google is just now catching up. Apple hasn't really done much. It's like, so there's just so many reasons why the Mag 7 can lift up the rest of the S&P. And then you look at the rest of the S&P and it's like, okay, well, they haven't really been doing that much. And so next year might be a good year for them. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a good chance that and then you add in lowering rates. As long as we don't get into a big issue with unemployment or start any wars, and if we can see more peace and Russia-Ukraine end, I mean, there's every reason, and you've got a White House that is now very focused on affordability because if not, they're going to lose Congress.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about housing tonight. We'll have to put off that until next week. I have 3 solutions to the housing situation, which I think you'll appreciate. Maybe you'll have some of your own, but we don't have time tonight. So that's a tease for next week. All right. So with the last minute here, what's one resolution that you're going to make for next year, or maybe you've already made for next year?
A resolution.
Yeah.
I haven't actually made any resolutions. I have goals, but not resolutions.
Okay. Well, they're kind of the same. I mean, resolution, some people think that has to be a change in how you do things, but I think it can also be a goal.
That's a good question. I think let's just say to learn to be a good father.
Oh yeah, there you go. Wow. Yeah. That's a good one. I have a couple of books I can recommend.
Did you write them?
No. But there's some really good ones out there. All right. But raising 4 kids and now whatever it is, 12 grandkids, I forget. I can't keep track. Something like that. Two in the last year. Yeah.
Yeah. You might need to write a book.
I might need to write. All right, Nick. Happy New Year to you. And thank you for coming on all the time and trying to win this week, trying to be the #1 gatherer of clicks.
I better win this week. If not, I don't know. Guys, I'm going to do something stupid if not.
All
right.
All right.
But no, Happy New Year's to you. Happy New Year's to your wife. Happy New Year's to everyone listening, especially if you stay to the end. I'll see you all next year.
All right. And to all of you out there, I agree. Happy New Year. And it's been great talking to you.